So, you want to collect Dark Aether intel, do you? Well, look no further, you've come to the right video. I haven't seen any other video on YouTube talk about this topic, and it was something that had eluded me for a long time, as I had stepped away from Cold War, and when I came back, all the seasons had run their course. So I had a lot of catching up to do. Now, if we go over here to my barracks, into my intel, obviously some of the logos haven't loaded, but you can see I have most of the intel here, right? We look at audio logs, artifacts, radio transmissions, I have everything. These last documents are just from Onslaught. However, we come over here to Dark Aether, which there are no Dark Aether intel logs, or documents rather, in Outbreak, and we see that I'm missing 5 out of the remaining 125 Dark Aether intel. And then even if I wanted to go in, you can see I'm missing some radio transmissions and audio logs in Season 5 and in Season 6. But you can see, if I go to like my documents, for example, Outbreak. So you might be confused, and I've seen a lot of confusion on how to even get documents, radio transmissions, and audio logs in Outbreak, and I'm here to show you that. So you can load up Outbreak, whether you're playing with a friend or you're doing it by yourself. I'm obviously playing it by myself, but I think you need to play normal Outbreak where you get the trial machine. So we're in Outbreak. I'm on Glover right now. Look at my little Dorito chip just hanging there. For wave 1, what you're going to want to try and do is just get through it as fast as possible. Whether you want to do all the side objectives is up to you. That's not entirely necessary. Obviously here you can see I'm playing in October with these pumpkin zombies. It might not even be necessary to do the trials, because then you can get things like chalices, armor, and support streaks, and all that kind of stuff. But normally what I do is I beeline it to all the world objectives and then to my main objective. Yeah, so I've never gotten, and as far as I've seen in my research, you cannot get an intel trial, or you can't get any intel on round 1. So don't even try that. I didn't know that for a while. I remember spawning in when I still had a bunch of intel to get, going around and collecting different intel. Okay. Well, I just went down. Another thing that I would do is I would collect tomahawks. This isn't something that you need to do necessarily, but it's something that I found is useful. There is an intel trial to get kills with equipment, and I've found picking up tomahawks means that that's the most reliable way to have equipment to kill zombies with. So unless you want to just run around with the one tomahawk and you have to keep interacting with it to pick it up, I suggest just picking up, and then as you go throughout the world, just getting more. I've really worked to grab all of the intel in Outbreak. It's a lot, but honestly, it's not nearly as difficult as I thought. It really is just time consuming. Obviously, this is a guide for getting Dark Aether intel, but I would definitely recommend, if you're going for all Outbreak intel like I was and still am, maybe loading up only 1 or 2 rounds, looking up how to get all the intel for whatever world you're on, and then quitting out, because the radio transmissions that you get from everything except Dark Aether, you can only get 1 per faction per game. So far, this recording has been about 17 minutes, and I have completed my first objective. It'll probably take you guys less time because I've gone through and been explaining. And yeah, warp to World 2. Spawning into World 2, the first thing I do is open my map. I can see where my challenges are, which is in a great spot, but just beeline it all the way over to the challenge. Try not to kill any zombies. That's definitely the best way of going about this, unless it's a Tempest, because fuck the Tempest. So ideally, you didn't spend all your points and you still have at least 500 points. And now here's an important distinction to make. But the first way to tell if you're going to be able to get intel in the world is by looking at the intel machine. Now, as you guys can see, there's a treasure chest here. This means that it's just going to be a normal trial. And of course, if I interact with it, spend the 500 points, you can see on the left side of my screen, it just says trial. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I never noticed that it told you that it's just a trial. I never looked at it. I never really looked at the machine. I would just go up and I would press F or X or square, and I just go about my killing, trying to do the challenge, because in my mind, I thought it was completely random when you would or wouldn't get a piece of intel. Now, apparently, that was wrong. Now, I will cut back after this trial is over, and I'll show you an example of when we are able to get intel from a trial. Now, normally what should happen is you should come over to the Aether, or the trial machine, and you should see a folder. This means that you're going to get an intel trial. And intel trials essentially mean that you have the possibility of getting intel, and it's very likely to get intel at that. So this is exactly why I said save as many zombies as possible. You want to maximize these trials to get as much intel as possible, or at least to hit the limit. Hopefully we don't get the kill zombies from far away, because I think that is one of the worst challenges to get. So go ahead and buy it. Kill zombies with vehicles. This one's actually also not very great because we're on a boat map. Now, of course, on a map like Armada, this is a bad challenge to get, but we'll see if this actually works or not. Yep, so this works. Obviously, you can see it's counting towards my kills. There we go. So I got my first piece of intel. So if you get audio logs and or radio transmissions, you're going to have to wait for the actual entire intel to be completely done playing. So normally what I do is I actually just will wait. You can also see, if you're not even looking at your trial machine, you can see it says Intel Trial on the top left of my little, where my challenge is. That is another way to see if you have an Intel Trial or a normal trial. So once we see that we have this skull and crossbones on that red screen, that means that the audio log or the radio transmission is done playing, and that means that we're good to get more kills. Another thing that I do, I always claim whatever reward I have. So there's 0 reward. I don't know if this is placebo effect, but when I was trying to do challenges like on Mallard or Totem, for example, I was finding that having 0 trial made it feel more likely that I was going to get some kind of intel. There we go. One more piece of intel. So as you can see, I just had an intel trial. I got my 2 pieces of intel you guys saw there. And I have the folder on my screen or on the trial machine again. If I hit F, 5 minutes, you can see it says it's an intel trial. And this also perfectly goes to show getting the equipment kills, the thing that I was talking about prepping for earlier, comes in handy here. Oh man. And there we go. About a minute into my trial, and most of that was spent just running around. We can see I have intel. Grab my transmission, and there you go. I've hit my max limit. Now, of course, you can try for more. I've seen some people say that they've been able to get 6 in a game. I have not been able to do that, so I don't even really try. You can wait for this to play out if you want, but obviously you saw at the top of my screen that I got the intel. So I'm gonna go ahead and just exit my match, because there's no reason for me to stay anymore. Now, of course, if you're also going for the other intel, keep playing. I say play to World 3, because that's maximize how many documents you can get per match, because you can get 3 documents per match, 1 per map, or 1 per world. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. Like I said, I didn't see anybody talking about this. This was the main deterrent for me wanting to get all the intel, but it's not as hard as it looks. It's just kind of time consuming and can be kind of annoying sometimes. But hopefully you found this video informative. If you did, please share it with anybody else that's also trying to hit this intel grind. If you'd like to see more videos like this, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I got hair on my nuts, and I can be scary as fuck. And all I wanna do is some bad shit. Got a good family, but I'm acting like a bastard. And they tell me I'm smart, but that ain't gonna get me no bra. Yeah, so for now I'm the